Everybody, welcome back with Blapper. Platypus is the name. Sorry if you hear explosions. It is the 4th of July, and I'm in here playing Persona as I do. But today, I have been using the rank 5 Personas for a couple days now, so I kind of wanted to go over and give you the ones that I think are the best. And we're getting to the point where there are quite a few, and there are quite a few that fulfill a similar job. Like, is Power better than her? They both kind of do similar things at single target damage. So I decided how I want to break it down is I'm basically going to go through all 6 of the categories, and I'm going to tell you my favorite one from each category, the one that I have found the most success with myself. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So we're going to start with Assassin here. So you can see here, there's 4 options here, but for Assassin, I actually really like the Baku guy here. What's his, Byaku. He has one of the most crazy passives ever. So you can see here at Awakening 0, basically, 12.5% crit rate, and then at the end of every turn, you gain Fighting Spirit. Each Fighting Spirit increases attack by 10%, and it goes up to 6 stacks. After defeating a foe, you get 2 Fighting Spirit stacks. But if you get him to overclock 2, which is like, you know, this is a higher level Persona. This might be one you actually want to do. He gets the 12.5% crit rate, and he gets 11.5%. So this is 69%, I think, when I added it up, over 6 stacks. And it gets critical rate by 1.2% as well. So when you add up the crit rate, the 12.5% here, the 1.2 times 6, and his apt pupil of 6.5, he is getting a 26% passive crit chance. Now, this does take a couple turns to get into, of course, especially if you're not killing foes. But 69% increased damage, 26% crit chance, and honestly, you also get an 8.7% physical damage boost here. He does have an ice attack, so that is kind of nice. You could always put other elements to expose weaknesses, but his signature is the Sharp Claws, which does 133% at level 4, so higher over time. And if they're below 50%, you increase the damage by another 40%. This is really, out of all these characters, the best assassin. Like, he is really good at killing one thing really, really hard. Now, you do need to have them not resistant to physical. You can, of course, do some good damage with other stuff as well, but just probably the best stat boosts out of all these options available. I think the AoE style characters actually has the strongest group here. I think you can make a great case for Horus, a great case for, I don't know, this guy sitting on the ground, and honestly a great case for this character, but them you can't, is a little weird because you can't fuse them until you get a social link. But I'm actually going with Pazuzu here. So Pazuzu is my favorite, and I've already maxed him out. So baseline, I don't even know. I can't even look at baseline. I can only look at overclock 1. But increases his attack by 17.7%. When attacking a foe with a skill, a 50% chance to inflict a curse on the main target. It's normally 40% when you first make him. Then deal curse damage. So at level 2, which is the max, every time you use a skill, you have a 60% chance to inflict 1 curse on the main target, and then you deal curse damage. Meaning, it's just, the curse damage, by the way, is like, it procs the thing. I don't know why the element curse and the status effect curse have the same name. That's a little annoying. But basically, with his signature ability here, this one's okay. Curse damage to all foes, 58% damage, a chance to inflict curse on enemies. That's fine. But this single target one, or if you get some higher level ones later, this is a single target attack. It can inflict up to 2 curse stacks on a foe. And again, when you do this, let's say you get 2 curse stacks, you do 115% damage, and you have a 60% chance to do a 3rd curse stack and then instantly proc all 3 curses. And if there's more curses on them from like Joker or Sumi, then you have even more. So he also has some good stuff here, whatever. Curse damage reduction and curse damage up, and even just flat battle damage. But honestly, I have found just his ability to put large amounts of curse stacks on single targets, and then, I mean, it's a little more of an assassin-y thing, I suppose, but like, he has been able to get, I've had like 5, 6, 7 curse stacks and then proc them and just blow things up. So Pazuzu has been my favorite. I am a little bit of a sucker for curse stacks, but absolutely a unit worth using. So if we jump into the next category here, which is healer, there's only literally one option, I'll be honest here. But this is, I actually put her originally when I wasn't going to break it down by ranking. She was going to be in my top 5 anyway. So basically what she gets here is the ability at the end of your turn, she gets healing, and then after healing, the ally with the lowest HP for 27% of the user's attack. So If you do an AoE heal, she's going to pick the one with the lowest HP and heal them again. And then if they're still almost dead below 50%, you're going to get an additional little bit of a boost there. So that is pretty good. This isn't like game breaking or anything, but what is really good is this Mother Goddess's Chant. This is like her unique skill. You heal the party for 17.3% plus 336, which is better than media. This is better than media, and this is better than the upgraded media, so it's very strong. And it just flat out decreases party damage taken 7.7%. Decreasing your damage taken by a flat amount, I think, is better than like usually an HP or a defense buff, unless you're scaling specifically your damage potentially. But because this is not like, you know, if you already have a bunch of defense buffs and then you get another defense buff, it doesn't seem like it gives you an absolutely broken amount. Like, they're not all multiplicative, it's all like additive. Whereas this is like the total damage they're dealing is getting cut, you know, by that amount. So this has been very powerful. This thing is, even if you have a low level character, like you don't use them at a high level, you can still just use this once to get the damage reduction and then switch them out with something. So that's pretty good. Also, good amount of HP and a good amount of healing boost. So probably the best healer. I mean, obviously the best healer in this rank, but maybe the best healer up until this point in the game at all. So when we jump over to the tanks here, there are two options, and it's not even close. This guy was also on my top 5 list here. This guy is actually jacked because he has this passive here that it literally, first, ailment resistance is increased by 17.4%. That's pretty good in general. You don't like falling asleep. You don't like getting all these debuffs. But decrease parties' damage taken from foes with debuffs by 20%. Debuffs are trivial to inflict. Like, this isn't like spiritual debuffs. You don't need to put them to sleep or, you know, cause despair, which would be really hard. You could just do like I'm pretty sure windswept counts. And even if not, you could do like these ailments, you know, like if you do like a AoE with Yao Ling, right? Then suddenly all of them take more damage. I'm pretty sure that counts as a debuff. Some of the definitions are a little weird, but I'm pretty sure that counts. So taking a flat 20% less just for this fat guy sitting here is fantastic. And when his turn comes up, you can decrease all their attacks for another 3 turns. So absolutely jacked. Also, you're just not going to die, right? You're strong to physical, strong to gun, strong to fire, strong to curse, and you have gun reduction, curse reduction, fire reduction, and physical reduction. So in most fights, this is going to make you invincible. I still wouldn't typically stay in this form. This is mostly if you're in a fight and you really, really need like your team to survive and they're just getting one shot. This is going to help that team survive. I would get a different, like probably take 1 or 2 of these off. I don't know. I would take something off and I would get you a better attack or a better buff. You know, so his stats aren't going to be very high for his attack and defense. Maybe his defense will be okay. But mostly you're going to want to either get an AoE attack buff. You're going to want to get a critical buff. Something like that. And he does have the ability to give everyone a shield as well. So this guy is a true tank in all senses of the word. You don't usually need just dedicated tank characters, but when you do, this guy is like really, really good. So moving on to like the buffers here, this character is absolutely jacked. This is my favorite of all the 5-star or the rank 5 personas personally. So in fact, it's enough. Well, Pazuzu's my favorite because I think he's the most fun, but I think she's the one that I use the most. Increase ailment accuracy by 21.2%. This is good, but it's on so many things that I don't think it's really worth writing home about. Just makes it easier to do freeze on a bunch of targets, which is good. For every buff gained, this is wrong. For every, it's mistranslated. Every time you use a buff skill, permanently increase party's attack by 6.7%, max of 3 stacks permanent. But if you come over here, you'll see the actual translation. Whenever using a buff skill, permanently increase party's attack by 8.5%. So that's 8, 16, 24, 25.5% permanent attack just for using buff skills, which you want to do anyway. So you use something like this, right? You increase their party's attack by 9.8 plus 6.5. Then you also increase, you know, someone's ailment accuracy. Maybe you increase all their defense with the other guy. You know, you just increase people's stats however you want. And then when she gets all 3 of those stacks, you could just switch her out. It's fine to switch her out. I mean, yes, it is nice to do the freeze, but once you have that buff, that's never going away. You could just switch her back in once every 3 turns to do this. Or, you know, you could do this, come back in 3 turns to do it again. That is a lot of free attack for very, very little effort, doing something you already want to do. In a lot of fights, will go pretty long, like over 3 turns, like 6, 7, 8, 9 turns for a lot of like later game fights. And so being able to get a permanent buff, that way you don't need to keep rebuffing everything all the time, is actually pretty huge. So she has absolutely been my favorite persona, and I use her in pretty much every single fight. Now, when we get to the last category here, you can see there's a lot of options, and this guy would actually be my top pick, but I think you need like a rank 13 with Merope to actually make her. And I think you could make a case for this character because she also has a permanent mechanic where it's like, oh, every time you do a spiritual alignment, permanently increase target's physical damage taken 5.7%. I like that, but there's too many enemies that are just immune to spiritual stuff. So actually, I really like the tapeworm guy here. This guy has, this is again, not as much of a debuffing thing, but this guy has such a crazy powerful combination of like his skills combined with his passive here. So if we look at his higher level passive, increase his own critical damage 17.4%. And then, just for being around, increase foe's critical damage taken by 18%. If the foe is shocked, which is very easy to do, increase by 11% more. So you're doing 17% more crit. You're also dealing, what, 29%? They're taking 29% more crit damage because they're going to be shocked. Shocked also makes them easier to crit. So you don't even need that high of a crit chance. Now, the main character does have a little bit of a harder time getting crits because you can't just put like crit card on them and give them like 80% or whatever. So you're not guaranteed to get crits, but you can work around that to make it much more likely with other characters given buffs and stuff. Also, passively, they have electric break, so it doesn't matter if you're using a couple electric characters, you bring them, you don't need to worry about it. You could still crit them, you could still deal all your damage. Electric boost 3, increase electric damage by 8.7%, and they have a really good single target here, 109%. But basically, as long as you can crit, this character is going to hit really, really hard. Most of the time, I don't like these types of abilities like electric break because like if they're immune or resistant, whatever, to electric, I'm just gonna not bring an electric guy most of the time. However, because this has such a powerful passive here where it increases enemies' critical damage taken, and you know, by even more if they're shocked, I actually think that this could just be a good character to bring, even if you're using like a Ryuji or something, where you just want to crit them. I mean, one, Ryuji does, you know, is kind of electric a little bit, but just being able to let him deal a bunch more damage while having this around and being able to do some more damage, I think is all really good. So this isn't honestly my favorite character out of the group as much as this character is, but I think they are a strong supporter. But really quick, why this character is good is because they kind of do the same thing. Increase ailment accuracy after inflicting windswept on a foe, which lowers their defense. You also increase their damage taken by 22.4%, and you get more ailment accuracy, and you get the skill called Spike, which does like a huge amount of damage with almost a guarantee to windswept. Then you have windswept boost, so you're always windsweeping. You can even get you know, a few other skills in here, but just making someone take almost 20% more damage is a really, really, really good buff that I would use. But they are not currently accessible to me, so I don't think that this would probably be number 1, but I don't think that's helpful to you guys. So that is all today for the personas at rank 5. When I get to rank 6, I will go over there, you know, 6, 7, 8. 8 is my favorite Final Fantasy, besides maybe 10. But yeah, I'm excited to look at all these. I am going through and I'm reading each and every single one to figure out exactly what will be the best for you guys. But yes, that is all for now. That's all for now. That's all for today. Thank you very much, guys. Much love. Per platypus is per platypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye! Watch the views go up. Content king, never down, always show.